These are all the medications I need to take to avoid organ rejection. Can you guess how many pills I have to take in one single day? Stick around to find out if you guessed right and why every pill matters. Managing my health has been a crucial part of my journey. At this point, my biggest battle seems to be with longevity. So of course, my medications are critical for longevity. After battling acute lymphoblastic leukemia and undergoing a stem cell and double lung transplant, my daily routine includes a variety of different medications. Let's dive in. First up, we have cyclosporin. This one is a key player in preventing organ rejection. It's a medication I need to take daily at the same time to ensure that my body accepts my new lungs. Here's my attempt at a very basic explanation as to how cyclosporin works. Within the immune system are these specialized cells called T cells. These cells are like elite troops trained to spot and fight off any foreign invaders to protect your body. When you receive a transplant, these T cells mistake your new organ for an enemy and prepare for an attack. Cyclosporin steps in to prevent this. It specifically interacts with these T cells and orders them to stand down and relax, preventing them from attacking your new organ. It does this by blocking signals within the T cells that would normally ramp them up and prepare for battle. With these signals turned down, the T cells don't go into attack mode, which allows the organ to settle in peacefully and not be harmed. In a nutshell, cyclosporin works by calming down the immune system's elite troops, which allows the new organ to settle in. Remember this because this is why I'm on another medication, which I will discuss near the end of the video. In total, I take 6 pills of cyclosporin per day. Next is CellCept, which is also key in preventing organ rejection. It works by selectively inhibiting a key enzyme and pathway that white blood cells, particularly T and B cells, rely heavily on for their growth. This results in the suppression of T and B cells. This reduces the likelihood of organ rejection, so it allows a balance between preventing organ rejection but not completely shutting down the immune response so you can still fight off infection. Total pill count per day, 6. Last in the immunosuppression category is prednisone. Prednisone mimics the action of cortisol, which is produced by the adrenal glands, which sit right on top of the kidneys. Cortisol works by maintaining a ton of different physiological processes. This includes the immune response, growth, metabolism, reproductive functions, and stress response, and that's just to name a few. When prednisone enters the body, it mimics cortisol by binding to the same receptors. These receptors are found inside cells throughout the body, including immune cells. When prednisone binds to these receptors, it triggers events that mimic those produced by cortisol, which means prednisone's ability to mimic cortisol allows it to exert powerful immunosuppressive effects, which is what cortisol naturally does. This is harnessed to treat a variety of conditions, and in my case, preventing organ rejection. Pills per day, 1.5. Next up, we have alendronate. Remember how I said prednisone mimics cortisol? Prednisone mimics the action of cortisol. See, I did say it. I also said that prednisone regulates a ton of different physiological processes. One of those is calcium absorption. Now, I want you to imagine you're out in the woods going for a hike and you see a grizzly bear pop out of the trees and rampage towards you. When faced with acute stress, like dealing with a rampaging grizzly bear, your adrenal glands will pump out cortisol, which aids your fight or flight response. Although let's be honest, you're probably going to get torn to pieces. Cortisol helps your body prioritize immediate survival mechanisms over long-term bodily functions, such as certain aspects of the immune response and calcium absorption. Those processes are not important in the immediate short term. Since prednisone mimics cortisol, one of the unfortunate long-term side effects is impaired calcium absorption, which can lead to osteoporosis. This is where alendronate comes in. Alendronate is used to treat and prevent osteoporosis. That's why I'm on it. I take 1 pill per week. Okay, on to valganciclovir. Cytomegalovirus, or CMV for short, not where I wanted to start. Valganciclovir is used to treat cytomegalovirus, or CMV for short. which is a herpes virus. So I have herpes, not that kind of herpes. CMV is actually so common that almost all adults have been infected. The issue is it can cause serious problems in people with a compromised immune system. Me. Valganciclovir prevents CMV. I take 2 pills per day of valganciclovir. Okay, Septra. Septra is a brand name for a combination antibiotic called, I'm probably gonna get this wrong, but sulfamethoxazole and trimethoprim. I'm on this medication as a prophylaxis to prevent pneumocystis jirovecii pneumonia. This is a type of fungal pneumonia. PCP is an opportunistic infection, which means it's caused by a pathogen that typically doesn't cause infection in healthy individuals. But it can take advantage of people with a compromised immune system to cause disease. Hence the Septra, which I take 3 days per week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. How many pills do I take? 1 a day on those days. Rosuvastatin. So this drug is part of a class of drugs called statins. These are typically used to lower cholesterol. Now, after transplant, patients are on long-term immunosuppressive medications to prevent rejection. Some of these medications have side effects that can increase the risk of developing cardiovascular disease. For instance, drugs like prednisone and cyclosporin can increase cholesterol levels. This contributes to the risk of developing cardiovascular disease. So this is why I'm on rosuvastatin, to reduce my cholesterol level. I take 1 pill per day. My supplements, I'm on a few different ones. Magnesium oxide, calcium carbonate, multivitamin, vitamin D3, and omega-3. So I'm just quickly gonna go over why I'm on that supplement. Magnesium oxide, because immunosuppressive medications lead to magnesium depletion. Calcium carbonate to counteract the long-term bone density loss associated with being on prednisone. Vitamin D, mainly to ensure that the calcium is absorbed by my body. Multivitamin, to address any gaps in nutrition. Vitamins are good. Omega-3 for their anti-inflammatory properties and manage the elevated risk of cardiovascular disease. Pill count for all my supplements combined, 8 pills per day. Last but not least, immunoglobulin injection. Let's rewind back to January 2020. I'm entering my second term of year 3 of my medical sciences degree. For the past, I want to say month or so, I've been having these gut issues that just will not go away. I'm talking mostly bloating, diarrhea, and cramping. It hits a peak near the end of January where I'm just sick, exhausted, and I spike a fever. I go to the emergency room and eventually I get admitted. They run a bunch of tests on me and discover that I have the flu. Not only that, we discover that my body is producing almost no antibodies. Not only that, it seems like this has been the case since my stem cell transplant, almost 4 years ago. So I was treated with immunoglobulin from a pool of donors and recovered. To this day, I receive weekly immunoglobulin injections as part of my treatment plan. So what exactly are immunoglobulin injections and why am I on them? Immunoglobulins, or antibodies, same thing, are produced by the immune system and help fight off infections. However, due to my compromised immune system because of the medications I'm on, like cyclosporin, Cellcept, and prednisone, my body just does not produce enough of these protective antibodies. Immunoglobulin injections, or IVIG for short, help supplement my immune system by providing me a concentrated dose of antibodies obtained from a pool of donated blood plasma. This therapy helps boost my immune response and reduces the risk of infection, especially those caused by opportunistic infections like CMV that my immune system might struggle to fend off. So while medications like cyclosporin, Cellcept, and prednisone help prevent organ rejection by suppressing my immune system, immunoglobulin injections help fortify it. There's this delicate balance between protecting my new lungs while still maintaining my ability to fight off infection. From the time period where I had my stem cell transplant in 2016 to when they discovered my lack of antibodies in 2020, I'd always struggled with energy and gaining weight. I was always exhausted. I was just thin and just gone. These injections completely changed that. I honestly could not believe the difference. I gained weight, I felt energized. It was just an absolute game changer. I haven't been seriously hospitalized like that since then. Okay, so what's our pill count? On days that include alendronate and Septra, Can I get a drum roll, please? Okay, that's done. 26 and a half pills per day. It's definitely a lot to keep track of, especially at first, but it's all part of the journey. At this point, 8 years post stem cell transplant and 5 years post double lung transplant, I hardly ever think about all the medications I have to take on a daily basis. It's just so ingrained in my routine, it's like brushing my teeth. Just something I do now. If you made it through my whole video, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, want to share your own experiences, or have some constructive feedback, leave a comment down below. As always, if you found value in this video, please consider sharing and subscribing. So I shot half of that, and then turns out the microphone died halfway through. So I had to redo it. That's always fun. I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. That was a lot.